Is the chapter on unemployment. I believe in your regular book it's chapter 15, but just look for the title for unemployment. And this is the third of the troika of GDP, inflation, and now unemployment. And in this chapter, we'll look for the answers to these questions. How is unemployment measured? What is the natural rate of unemployment? Why are there always some people unemployed? How is unemployment affected by unions and minimum wage laws? And what is the theory of efficiency wages, and how does it help to explain unemployment? Okay, labor force statistics. Unemployment is produced by the Bureau of Labor Statistics in the U.S. Department of Labor. It is based on a regular survey of 60,000 households, based on the adult population. This is the current population survey. The BLS divides the population into three groups: those who are employed, paid employees, self-employed, and unemployed workers in a family business; unemployed, people not working but who have looked for work during the previous 4 weeks; and not in the labor force, everyone else. Those who are employed and unemployed are included in the civilian labor force. And the labor force, as I just said, is the total number of workers, including the employed and unemployed. Now, the unemployment rate is the number of unemployed divided by the civilian labor force, which is a subset of the total population. The labor force participation rate is the number of workers as a percentage of the adult population. Now, it is not a perfect measure of joblessness or health of the labor market because it excludes discouraged workers, folks who have stopped looking for work, does not distinguish between full-time and part-time work, or people working part-time because full-time jobs are not available. Also, some people may misreport their work status in the BLS survey, so they may say that they are not working, whereas they really are working to maybe still collect their unemployment benefits. Now, despite these issues, the unemployment rate is still a very useful barometer of the labor market and the economy as a whole. Most unemployment durations are short. Typically, 1/3 of the unemployed have been unemployed for less than 5 weeks. 2/3 have been unemployed for less than 14 weeks. Only 20% have been unemployed over 6 months. Yet most observed unemployment is long-term. The small group of long-term unemployed persons has fairly little turnover, so accounts for most of the unemployment observed over time. And we have right now very high unemployment rate, well in excess of 9%. Okay, knowing these facts helps policymakers design better policies to help the unemployed. All right, this is a figure of Hawaii unemployment rates, and this is going up to 2006, and this is where we were having boom times in Hawaii, where we had unemployment rates of less than 3%. Now, of course, unemployment has gone up, but still our unemployment in Hawaii is about 5%, whereas the rest of the nation is well in excess of 9%. And here is the rest of the nation, and the numbers just came out June of 2010, with unemployment for the entire nation being at 9.5%. This was discouraging because and it only went down because a lot of folks left the labor force, and firms are definitely not hiring according to these surveys and the report that came out. These unemployment reports come out every month. Now, this is a graph that shows the unemployment rate and the natural rate of unemployment. The natural rate, as I'll explain in I think the next slide, is the rate of unemployment that exists even if the economy is doing relatively well. That stays relatively steady. The regular unemployment rate cycles around that. Now, there are always some unemployment because the unemployment rate fluctuates from year to year. The natural rate of unemployment, as I just said, the normal rate around which actual rate fluctuates, and cyclical, the deviation of unemployment from its natural rate. So the cyclical unemployment is those folks who are not working because the economy is going up and down. The cyclical rate is associated with business cycles, which we will study in later chapters. Now, the natural rate is divided up into two components. Frictional occurs when workers spend time searching for the job that best suits their skills and tastes. Short term for most workers. And structural occurs when there are fewer jobs than workers, and this is usually long term. Now we're going to look at the frictional portion. Job search, workers having different tastes and skills, and jobs that have different requirements. Job search is the process of matching workers with the appropriate jobs. Sectoral shifts are changes in the composition of demand across industries or regions of the country. So different regions getting more jobs in a particular area. Like the southern part of the United States, mainly because of unions, is getting far more manufacturing relative to the northern part of the mainland United States. Such shifts displace some workers who must search for new jobs appropriate for their skills and tastes. The economy is always changing, so some frictional unemployment is inevitable. What can the government do about job search? It can get out information about job vacancies. It can have training programs as well. And it can also have unemployment insurance that protects workers' incomes when they become unemployed so that they have time to search for that job that best matches them. But the unemployment rate increases frictional unemployment. To see why, recall one of the 10 principles of economics: people respond to incentives. And people may not take the first job because to do so would be to reduce their unemployment or have their unemployment go down to zero. So unemployment benefits end when a worker takes a job, so a worker has less incentives to work, to search and take jobs where eligible to receive benefits. Benefits of unemployment insurance: reduces uncertainty, gives the unemployed more time to search, resulting in better job matches and higher productivity. Now we have structural unemployment. And we are looking at structural unemployment occurs when not enough jobs to go around, occurs when the wage is kept above EQM, which is equilibrium. And here is structural unemployment with the actual wage. Oh, that's right, the actual wage above equilibrium. And there's some unemployment when the actual wage is kept above equilibrium. There are 3 reasons for this. Reason number 1 is minimum wage. And the wage is kept above equilibrium. This has caused structural unemployment. But this is a small part of the labor force. I didn't realize that. So the minimum wage can't explain most unemployment. Unions keep wages above equilibrium. They are a worker association that bargains with employers over wages, benefits, and working conditions. Unions exert their market power to negotiate higher wages for workers. And the typical union worker earns 20% higher wages and gets more benefit than a non-union worker. This is especially the case in Hawaii for construction, teaching, you can say security versus police officers, union versus non-union hotel workers. Unions raise their wage above equilibrium, quantity of labor falls, and unemployment results. Those who are inside, those workers remain unemployed, they're better off. Outsiders, workers who lose their jobs, they are worse off. Some outsiders go to non-unionized labor markets, which increases the labor supply and reduces wages in those markets. Are unions good or bad? We disagree. The critics, unions are cartel. They raise wages above equilibrium, which causes unemployment and depresses wages in non-union labor markets. Advocates, unions counter the market power of large firms. So it's my large firm versus your union, or my union versus your large firm. Now, another reason for structural unemployment, efficiency wages. Firms voluntarily pay above equilibrium wages to produce worker productivity. Different versions of efficiency wage theory suggest different reasons why firms pay high wages. 4 reasons. 1 is increased worker health. Pay them a higher wage, you get a healthier worker. 2, worker turnover. Pay a higher wage, you get less worker turnover. Worker quality. Pay a higher wage, get a better worker. Worker effort. Pay a higher wage, workers will work hard as well. Now, this depends on how hard it is to find another job. If the market wage is above equilibrium, there aren't enough jobs to go around, so workers have more incentive to work, not shirk. Shirk, I guess in this case, means being lazy. Okay, here's a little exercise for you. Which of the following would be most likely to reduce frictional unemployment? The government eliminates the minimum wage. The government increases unemployment insurance benefits. A new law bans labor unions. Most workers post a resume on Monster.com, and most employers use Monster.com to find suitable workers to hire. Or E, sectoral shifts become more frequent. Now, if you picked, let's get my pencil here, my pen. Which one did you pick? I'm hoping you picked D as your correct answer, because that decreases job search, and everybody knows what information is out there in terms of workers demanded versus workers wanted. Okay, explaining the natural rate of unemployment, a summary. The natural rate of unemployment consists of frictional, time to search for the right jobs, even if there are not enough jobs to go around. Structural, wages are above equilibrium, not enough jobs. Minimum wages, labor unions, and efficiency wages. In later chapters, we will learn about cyclical unemployment, short-term fluctuations of unemployment associated with business cycles. Let's see if there is another slide. Nope. There is not another slide, and so that ends the unemployment section.